What is going on, you guys? My name is Katara, so you are here with Katara. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you are not new here. Today's video, I'm going to be giving some tips and some advice on my queer people still navigating through their queerness and their just their sexuality. I personally, my own story and my own experience is that I have recently came out as a lesbian, and I have identified, or I have came to terms with being a lesbian for the past, going on my second year being comfortable in this place of my life. And I just want to express how I got here and just kind of help you guys out along the way too. Make sure to comment and subscribe if you enjoy the content. I love to know if there's any other content that you want to see, or you want to I don't know, experience, or you have any more questions. Just comment them down below, and I will get back to you guys whenever I can. It's only going to be a few tips and tricks, just a few tips and advice, honestly, because it's very complicated of a situation, so I would much rather you guys tell me what it is you guys want to know, but I would just tell you guys the rundown. So first off, I feel the main question that a lot of people who are trying to navigate through, they ask people, is how did you know that you were gay? And so for me personally, I'm one of the people who say that I've kind of always known, I was just born gay. I know when I was younger, I would typically gravitate towards women. Well, I guess girls, because I'm 8, 9, 10 doing all this. And yeah, my very first memory of having a girl experience is, I think that I was maybe 5, 6, and I was caught kissing a girl in my closet. I had a lot of friends who I feel were also queer themselves. In elementary school, we would just always play spin the bottle, or just have pretty queer experiences with each other. But all PG, it was just kissing, I swear. Come on, sorry. But yeah, I personally have always known. It's just kind of where I felt the most comfortable. I did have an experience kissing a guy during that time, and honestly, that's an experience I don't really recall that much. I can think about it, but it wasn't very impactful to me. It was just kissing. But the other times with the girls, I mean, I remember that pretty well. That was just something that I kept, that just felt good, so I just kept that memory with myself. So I feel that's kind of what really made me know I was very open to more people than just guys, just because I just naturally went to women. It wasn't a big deal to me to kiss a girl. I actually preferred it at that time. So that was kind of something that made me realize that oh, okay, I'm there's more to me. I also grew up not really knowing straight, obviously I see straight couples, but I feel I kind of just have my mind open, people just get with people, but I never knew the label, or how people basically categorize all of this. And it wasn't until middle school, whenever I moved to a new town, that I learned about LGBT and what they mean, and how this is this, and doing this is this, and all that stuff. And that's kind of leading into my next piece of advice is, for me personally, after I found out about the LGBT and just the different things and feelings that people have, I struggled a lot with identifying myself. I went through a lot of different labels, and kind of just said what felt the most comfortable and easiest, and the most acceptable in my community and just where I was. And so my piece of advice is especially if you are young, and I mean even if you're older, finding out your finding out your label, and finding out where you are with yourself and in your life. It's completely different for everybody, no matter like what stage in your life you are, but especially in the beginning, I feel like you should give yourself some grace and not try to put a label on yourself, and not try to like work through and change certain things about yourself to fit somewhere. Because I feel like that's the only thing that I feel with labels, is just the fact, especially whenever you don't know, when you're still experimenting and experiencing and learning, putting a label on yourself can make it like really hard for you to just move through your heart and your own feelings. So like whenever I first came out, or I first started like working and experimenting with my sexuality, I would say that I was bisexual. And I feel like that made it hard for me to kind of like continue to move through my sexuality, because it's like I've already told people that I'm this, and I've already started to like move in this way that like matches or mimics this label. And like if I change it, then like does that mean that I'm being a fake bisexual, or I'm being like harmful to the community? Like it caused a lot of like tension with myself, because I didn't know, and I was just trying out different things. And whenever I did change my label like 2 or 3 more times, it just became really uncomfortable for myself, because I felt like I had to constantly like come out to these people, and I had to constantly like keep people up to date, and it just felt like I was being really indecisive, and I just wanted to like pick one. And it's like, one, being queer is a spectrum. It changes, it fluctuates. It's not necessarily like a consistent thing for some people in our lives. And honestly, like preference, heart, love, like it changes, it just changes. And so definitely like just give yourself some grace. Like I honestly feel like until you feel comfortable labeling yourself, and you feel comfortable with like where you are in finding yourself and in your sexuality, I honestly would just keep the labels like to a minimum, and just be open. Like it just be open, just be looking, just be experiencing. And there's no shame in that. There's no shame in not fully knowing. Yeah, I just feel like especially if you communicate that and you open yourself up in that sense and in that way with people and to people, just let them know you're open. And like the people who are there for you and who love you and support you, they will hear you and they'll honor that. And you should honor yourself. I feel like not trying to put a label on yourself as soon as you're questioning and you're experimenting, it will give you a lot of like breathing room. It will give you some grace. I feel like it's allowing you to take up space and to be different, you know what I mean? Another piece of advice is experimenting. Let's talk about it. I feel like a thing for the queer community is experimenting, which is valid. It's valid. I support 1,000%. Like whatever you choose, I support you. Because experimenting, you don't really know. I feel like especially during like my age and my time, there wasn't a lot of queer media that was out in that certain light and shape. It was very like sexualized or like hypersexualized, or like it wouldn't be very clear that like this is love and this is like a relationship. And so for me, experimenting was kind of like vital for me, just because I needed to find out my comfortability. So I experimented with women and I've experimented with men, and I have explored those different realms of being with different people romantically, sexually, emotionally. And I personally did this experience. I was very open, but I feel like I could have been more open with these people. So coming from my point of view and my experience with these situations, I personally would say that if you are looking to experiment with someone, I would start with open conversations with these people. Just let them know, like, especially if it is a person of the same sex, and person of the opposite sex, but people of the same sex, it can sometimes get more confusing. But it just be upfront and just like let them know, like, you know, like whether like you're feeling them or like you're just curious, or even if you have questions, like Open and honest communication goes a long way with finding out your sexuality and finding out yourself, and even having safe experiences with experimenting. A lot of times, I won't say a lot of times, but in my experience, I was a queer person who was trying to find out my sexuality with my relationship with my best friend. So we were both best friends and we were both trying to figure out our sexuality, so we experimented with each other. Personally, for me, I wish I would have waited and found someone who was more open with themselves and who was more willing and honest throughout the experience, simply because it just can become really complicated, and I feel like the fact that we were best friends made the situation even more complicated. And long story short, we're not best friends to this day. So I personally would say to just honestly that open, honest conversation and communication, because it can make a huge difference in like finding love and finding hope and being like grateful and thankful for having the experiences and experimenting that you're going through, because you know that in all honesty it's healing. It's for both of you. It's going to give you like an openness and an identity that like it'll help you feel more you know what I mean? Because experimenting, it opens your eyes to a lot, like it lets you know what you like, what you don't like, your limits, your expectations, like everything, the whole 9 yards. And so I definitely like recommend it if you are struggling and you don't really know. For me personally, having these experiences with people helped me know, and it really opened my eyes to know like what I do enjoy and who I enjoy it from and how. But like I said, just open, honest communication. Like be open and transparent, and make sure that you're finding someone who you're safe and comfortable with, because you need to feel safe and comfortable. And even if you can't experiment with anyone, wait until you find love. Wait until you find someone who shows an interest in you and shows respect and love and care for you, because that also like goes a whole long way within this whole process. So yeah, that's gonna be like my third. Another one that I would say is honestly, I don't know. I feel like today's age, like we have a lot of queer media, and I love that we have a lot of queer media. Like watching shows, such as like I would recommend like watching shows and getting more into like the media and like just learning more about it, because during my time we didn't really have that much. And I say my time like it was like so long ago, but honestly like it was so long ago, like 10-ish years ago, we did not have the stuff that we have now. Like it was still a little bit taboo. But like watching shows like Sex Education, Heartstopper, and these are all shows on Netflix, like Heartstopper, Young Royals, First Kill, like just shows that show queer representation openly, lovingly, honestly, and transparently is so beautiful. Because honestly, especially with sex education, like it just helped me learn a lot. It helped me understand a lot and realize like where these feelings are coming from and what they mean, and like just feel like it's okay. Because honestly, the queer experience is very chaotic. Like the people who are queer and have tried to like find themselves, they understand like it's not an easy process, and it's not a choice. Like let's get that clear. In honor of Pride Month, it's not a choice. In honor of any month really, but like it's hard. It's hard because especially growing up in a world where like hetero relationships is the norm and supposed to be the like exception, like it's difficult, like feeling seen and feeling heard and feeling loved and feeling important, like, and not feeling wrong. And especially to like my religious babies, like people who grew up in homes where they were taught like just simply like loving who you love is wrong. I personally have never went through that, but I'm in a like really close relationship with someone who has, and seeing how like that affected them throughout like finding themselves in the process of like coming to terms with just their heart and their love, is really difficult. And so like my heart goes out to you. Like, you are seen, you are loved, and honestly, no matter who created you, like they created you exactly as you are. Like, you're here for a reason. Like, you're feeling what you do for a reason. It's not wrong, it's not bad, and you deserve that. Like, you deserve love, you deserve to feel good and to find happiness in your own like heart and soul. And anyone who tells you otherwise is wrong, and they are lying. Okay, religion is man-made. All there is, everybody has the same heart, same soul. Everybody is the same inside. Who you love, who you kiss, who you're attracted to, that does not change you. That does not alter you. You are whole all the way through. You being queer and you questioning your sexuality, and you being interested in same-sex or non-binaries, or people or people who are just different, that does not make you anything. Like, that does not make you anything but you, and freaking awesome. Like, that's freaking awesome. Like, I find standing in your truth and being yourself and showing up as you, no matter what people think, is awesome. Like, literally, we are the trailblazers, and we're gonna keep this shit going. Okay, excuse my French. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that this advice helped you. These are just some things that I wish I would have known during this time, and honestly, getting on the other side of it, I can kind of see like how I like helped myself and how I had other people help me along the way. And I hope this helped you guys. If you have any more questions or want any more advice, like a part 2 or anything, just comment that down below. Make sure to like if you like, make sure to subscribe if you love. I will be doing more queer videos because I love the queer representation, and I kind of want to be a part of that. So yeah, I will see you guys for the next upload. Have a great rest of your Pride Month, and I hope it's been beautiful. Bye. Mwah.